Hi everyone and welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday episode. Today we're going to be painting the great outdoors, also known as a beautiful Canadian landscape, so let's just get right into it. I've started out by sketching my landscape, so I basically just drew a horizon line and some details such as canoes that would be a little bit difficult to paint out of memory. And then I went ahead and painted the sky with a very light blue color, and then once that was almost dry, I proceeded to paint the water, making sure to avoid filling in the canoes and the little outcrops that I painted. Once the water was dry, and this is the mistake, I thought it was dry, and so some of the dirt patch bled into the water, so I really want to stress to make sure that your layers are dry, completely dry, before you start painting things that border them or things on top of them. But yep, I just made sure to fill in that ledge area, again making sure to keep the canoes white, just so that they are extra vibrant when we fill them in and paint them the color that we want them. My water was not the opacity that I wanted it at, so I went ahead and painted on another layer of water, this time mixing in a little bit of black and a darker shade of blue, just so I could achieve that contrasting water appearance. I wanted this to be very green and very blue, so just keep going, painting on more layers until you're happy with the opacity of them. Once the water had dried, I went ahead and created sort of the bushes in the background. So I started off using kind of a lighter green color, a lime green mixed with a little bit of forest green. We will be going over this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But while that layer is still a little bit wet, this is when you want to start painting in your pine trees, and the reason why we want that layer to be wet is because the pine trees can then sort of bleed into those bushes instead of ending abruptly, which is what it would look like if the bushes were completely dry. This isn't like a thing that you really have to keep in mind because we will be going over it again with another layer anyways, but it just makes further steps a little bit easier. So just fill in all of the trees that you want here, and then you can fill in your bushes with another layer. So as I was saying, this is where you want to start adding more layers to your bushes to sort of blend in the bottoms of the pine trees, but also kind of add depth to the bushes. So you want to paint on a slightly darker layer on top of the lime green, but making sure to, leave a few millimeters of space at the top so that the lime green is poking through, and then do that again with a darker color, and then even a black or mostly black mixed with a little bit of green towards the bottom. This creates the illusion that this is sort of a cliff edge that is kind of dropping right into the water. Once all of your layers have dried, you can start painting on the details. So I filled in my canoes with a classic canoe color. I filled in the little cliff ledges that were sticking out on one side of my painting, and I also filled in the rocky or the dirt shore towards the bottom of my painting. By the way, if you want some tips on how to paint pine trees, check out my video that I uploaded a little bit ago. It's basically a tutorial that shows you 4 techniques to painting pine trees specifically. So I show you how to paint pine trees in 4 different ways. I will link that video in the description and in the top right corner of this video if I remember to do so. So here it's a bit difficult to explain how I created or painted the details of my kayaks, but you basically just want to shade the areas inside the kayak that would sort of be shaded because your light source is coming from the opposite side, and you want to add other details such as kind of white foam along the little cliff ledges that we painted, as well as some white foam along the shore, because this makes the water look a little bit more realistic. I also decided to paint on some rocks along the shore just to add a little bit more detail to my painting. Outlining the planks in your boat and in general all the sides of the boat in black really adds another dimension to your painting, so I encourage you to do that as well. Once you're happy with your painting, peel off the tape if you opted to apply that at the beginning, and we're all finished. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like my video, and I will see you in next week's episode.